Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. It is Derby Day in Manchester, and we travel to the Etihad. Quite a bit of breaking news coming out. Obviously, we've got the team news, which we're going to get into in a moment. Dan, if you can hear me, we are live, so don't start slagging anyone off, and also turn your screen whenever you can. But this is the team. We're going to go through it, and then we'll get Dan's thoughts momentarily. We've got Onana in net, Matthias de Ligt, Maguire, Lissandro. Dan, still need to rotate your screen, mate, because it's on the mobile lengthways. We've got Mazraoui, Bruno, Ugarte, and Diego Dalot at left wing back, and then we've got Ahmad, Højlund, and Mason Mount as your front three. Now, you are the right way, Dan, but I think your lock screen might be on your phone because it's still showing vertical, like, kind of lengthways. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Maybe an orientation lock is on or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
I could stretch the screen if you want me to. Like, it's no problem, but it's just... Yeah, you let me know.
Is it making any difference?
No,
like
you're just going sideways when you do that now.
Okay.
So when you do that, you straight on. But I'll stretch the thing. That's fine. Right, Shreyas, talk me through that team. I was gonna say, are you surprised? But obviously not, because we knew the team, didn't we? We saw the leak.
Yeah, I mean, we had an insider informant 24 hours ago who was able to get the team sheet before everyone else, and now if Pep has worked his game plan out and believed that this team was going to be the one playing, we are in all sorts of trouble. But I think more or less, I think it is very close to the team that we expected in the first place during the preview as well. I think the only surprises in the team I would say is Maguire, but barring him, I don't see any problems in the team whatsoever. I think Bruno can work well in that midfield alongside Ugarte. I think Bruno in that role against Victoria Pleasant was very controlled. He looked a lot better. And I think he has been, slowly and steadily been becoming better and better every game week. He does have that, I would say, he has that annoyance in him. Like when things are not going in our favor, you can see that sort of frustration in his game as well and in his passes. But more or less, I think this is his, considering the game that we are playing today and the team that we are up against, it's good to have Bruno in that role because you got the legs, you got the mobility in the midfield as well, and you got someone like Ugarte who can do the cleanup work for you, even if you end up losing the ball. So Bruno and Ugarte, I'm very happy with. I'm really happy to see Mazraoui as a fullback. I think as a centre back as well, he's been absolutely amazing. But on that right hand side, I think he can prove even more effective for us. And now that you've got Mazraoui as well as Ahmad playing on that right hand side, City is going to have a lot of troubles as well. I wanted to see this partnership. I wasn't sure if Amorim would go for it. I thought maybe Ahmad would be, once again be deployed in that wing back position. But I think him as a 10 helps Højlund out a lot. It genuinely helps Højlund out a lot as well. So more or less a very good team. And I think Maguire as well as a centerpiece in this, three-back defense system. I think he can work quite well as a centerpiece. De Ligt has been I think for me, De Ligt has been under the radar. I think he has also been one of our more consistent performers in that back line. The only person I'm troubled with, I would still say, in that back line is Lissandro. I think Lissandro, especially getting challenged by Savinho on that side, and probably Bernardo Silva as well. I think Lissandro will have a lot of work to do today. But apart from that, mostly I'm happy with this team that he's gone with. And I think this is a team that can get a result against City today.
I'm just looking at it. I'm like, I saw City's team, and I'm thinking, I look at Lissandro in that left side of the centre half role. I look at Maguire. I look at De Ligt. All of them not the most mobile. All of them not the quickest. I look at Haaland, Foden, Doku, De Bruyne. All these players that are in the forward line. I think we might struggle at the back there. I mean, we're probably going to be deep anyway. So it's not like we're going to be pushing right out. I don't think we're going to be pushing really high up the pitch. But it's just when they get it in those kind of little intricate moments, when they have like Foden, that ability to turn you and chop and change, that worries me quite a bit. Talk to me about
Euro comes on. Maybe.
I don't know. And also, we don't know each position. De Ligt could be central, Maguire could be out, which would be even worse in my opinion. Mazraoui could be at left wing back, Dalot could be at right. Ahmad and Mount could be in different positions. That's just what we're going with at the moment. But Dan, talk to me about that front three, because obviously the biggest names that are missing out, I'm going to get into comments in a moment, no Garnacho in the squad and no Marcus Rashford in the squad. We'll talk about that momentarily. But that front three of Ahmad, Mount, Højlund, does that fill you with confidence?
Not literally. I'm not that much. Comfortable with Mount, as I have already said many times. Like, I'm not comfortable with Mount playing at the front three, because that reduces the pace of the players going forward. But I'm not sure how it's going to work out in this manner, because you need kind of a pacey players on the wingers, and then that will create a chance for Højlund to be in the box and receive the ball and score the goals. And that's where, because still now we have seen the Mount playing in that position kind of 3 to 4 times in recent days, but I'm still not convinced. Maybe playing wise, the passing wise, it's good, but it's not creating much chances when going up ahead, because most of the players are involved in controlling the ball in the midfield, and there are no players who can make the runs forward. So because you cannot expect Mount to make runs, because you need Mount to be in the midfield to have a passing flow in the midfield. So that's where I think when we put more players on the midfield and these attacking midfielders kind of players in the team, then the heat map goes towards the midfield, and then the heat map towards the opposition box reduces. So that's where I'm concerned, because that will reduce the chances we create. But yeah, in the game plan, in middle of the game, you can change the tactics with bringing on Mount. I feel Mount can be better used in the second half rather than playing from the first half itself. But against City, we have always known that even in the previous games when we play against City in the Ole times also, he has played Bruno on the right side. So he has played kind of attacking midfielders on the right side. So hope this works out. But again, then you see their players are kind of a pacey players in the attacking wise. So that will reduce, the more attacking we go. So I think it's going to be a touch and go for us today in this game as well.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, because I said this to Shreyas when we did the 12 o'clock show about the pace, not having that runner in behind with a Rashford or Garnacho. But obviously, before I dive into that, Dan, if you can try and look at your lock screen when you scroll down on your phone and tap that, and it should let you, when you turn it sideways, it should expand. Just double check it whilst we do this if you can, because it doesn't look great on the graphic. Shreyas, Rashford and Garnacho, both just been news coming out right now. Both are not injured. It's a selection decision. What does that tell us, do you think?
One of them is the leaks. And you never know, maybe both of them are the leaks. You genuinely don't know. Maybe both of them are, maybe none of them are, and it's being just something that is being circulated and media trying to spin something. But it does give you that sort of image. It portrays the image that, there is something wrong. And these are the two players that are being, mentioned around a lot in the past 24 hours. And with the kind of stuff that has been coming out about Garnacho and even about Marcus Rashford, Amorim is going to get back this time. Like, genuinely, I'm going to say this: Amorim is going to get back. If it is going to come down to Rashford and Garnacho versus Ruben Amorim, Amorim is going to win that fight. Hands down, he's going to win that fight. And I just think that, hopefully something can be inspired on the pitch, because this is the kind of stuff that actually derails the focus of the team, the morale of the team as well, especially against a Manchester City side where you would want to go in with absolute focus and wanting to actually get the 3 points. This is the kind of stuff that you don't need. This off the pitch stuff that actually affects you on the pitch is something that has been going on at United for quite some time, and it needs to stop now. So I'm sure that in the upcoming days, on you never know, maybe after the match itself we hear something about it as to what has been specifically going on with Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho. But it's going to get messy for both of them. It's genuinely going to get a lot messy. And if these guys, Ahmad is going to have a good game, I can count on it that Ahmad is going to have a good game as well. If we pull up with the result, it's only going to cause more pressure on both of those players.
I just think it's unnecessary drama before a massive game. Like, why on earth, if the reasons why they have been dropped is because they've leaked a lineup or something, Why the fuck would you do that? You do not have Man United as your best intention in your heart if you're doing that before a Manchester derby, because there is nothing, like we spoke about earlier on today, there is nothing positive that can come from leaking a lineup. It's either you're throwing your toys out the pram because you're pissed off you're not starting, or you found out you're not starting and you're like, oh, I'll just leak this through to Samuel Luckhurst, or I'll leak it through to whoever it is. And they're unhappy about it, and they're being like spoiled brats. So if that is the case, then they fucking deserve to be dropped, both of them. And I don't care if Amrin's taking that decision and they're taking it as coaches, as a collective, good. Because that's the kind of decisions that you need to make when players are acting like fucking children. Like, it's outrageous, to be honest with you. I am interested in that dynamic, though, with Ahmad and Mount, to see how that... Because I do think Ahmad has got a bit of pace about him, but I think those two in particular, the way they press from the front... And you look at how shaky City are at the back at the minute, Dan. I don't know if you're still trying to sort that out or not, Dan, but talk to me about that. Can we get opportunities against City? You've seen how shaky they are at the moment, conceding a shitload of goals. Is the confidence on that side of the pitch at least for you?
But with the current lineup, I'm still not confident because, as I mentioned before, like the only when you play against City, you need kind of a pacey players on your side, because you know that you'll not get a lot of chances and only few, because it's going to be like a long ball, like from the defenders or the midfielders. So you need players to make the runs, and that's going to miss in the first half for sure. But but with the playing, I could see like in the previous games, like the passing is being improved. I mean, the bit by bit the passing is improving. With Bruno Fernandes playing in the midfield, that is creating extra, I mean, kind of an intelligent player bringing into the midfield. So that's a positive for us. But again, you need players to run past the defenders, because their defenders are also pacey defenders. So you need pace in your front lineup. So, and Højlund in the last game, when you see like when he came on, the reason he was able to score goals was because he was at the line of defense, their opponent defense line. He was like just, I mean, 1 or 2 steps behind the line, so he could make the run and go past the defenders. Because in the past we have seen he will drop back and receive the ball and then play it to the winger. So that was not working out for him, because he's a kind of player who is a finisher. So you need him in the box, and that's where we could see that he was able to score a couple of goals in the last game. As also he was in a better play, he was positioned in a better manner than in previous games. So that's what we need in the today's game as well. But chances will come definitely, because the style of play we are, I mean, improving day by day. The passing is improving with the players like Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount, and the creative players. They can always make a good passes past their defense. But then again, you need players to run past their defense. So that's the only concern for me. Maybe in the second half, when they bring on Garnacho or Rashford, that time, I hope that by that time the game is not already finished.
They can't bring on Garnacho or Rashford because they're not even in the squad.
Yeah. Oh, they're not even on the bench.
Not even in the team. That's how I know you're trying to sort your thing out then, because we just touched on that. But that's what I'm saying. They haven't really got pace off the bench. So in terms of how they handle that, I don't know. Look, I think that the team that they've put out anyway, there should be enough in there to at least be competitive. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like this is going to distract. All this circus around Rashford and Garnacho at the moment is just going to actually distract and take away from what we've got in front of us at the moment. Because if we look at Manchester City's team, who they've put out, I know we've been through a couple of them, but I'll go through like the full lineup. So they've got Edison back in net. They've got Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, Gavadio. And then they've got Doku, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Mateus Nunes, Phil Foden. Grealish, Stones, Kovacic, not fit enough to start on the bench. So that is a very, very attacking team. It's like Pep's looked at this Shreyas and he's gone, I'm going to fight fire with fire and see who comes out on top.
There's going to be goals in this one. Like, I can tell that to you straight up right now. There's going to be goals in this one. Both teams are going to get on the score sheet. The only thing is, the team that gets the first goal, the other team is just going to disrupt. Genuinely, it's going to disrupt. And with City, like you mentioned as well, it's a very attacking lineup. But the another drawback is the players that they've got in their attacking lineup are misfiring a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
And if United is able to capitalize on that opportunity, I think that's the reason why he's actually gone with Mount. Because I think he's trying to box out that midfield, get an extra player in who knows how to mobilize in that position, and actually, just disrupt the midfield altogether. Because Gundogan is nowhere near to it at the at this moment. De Bruyne as well has been very shaky. And when it comes to that defensive midfield position, sometimes Bernardo Silva has been deployed there. Sometimes we see the likes of Kyle Walker stepping into that position and get absolutely bullied off the ball. So whatever they do, if United is able to deploy, the only thing that we've got in our favor right now is Ahmad in that number 10 position, because
Yeah.
he can actually cause a lot of trouble being in that position. Mount can cause a lot of trouble in that position as well. And you need your off the ball presses to be coordinated in this game. And Mount, Bruno, and Ahmad in that triangle with Ugarte doing the cleanup work, I think it can do a very decent job in this game. And if you're able to track Hoyland on the run, I think we might be able to score some goals.
How nervous on a scale of 1 to 10 are you, Dan, for this game?
You're muted.
Right. Muted.
I was little confident till I heard that Rashford and Garnacho are not in this lineup. So I'm very nervous now because I don't see, I mean, how this, even if we are, I mean, going down, I don't see anything. I mean, I can't see anyone, I mean, who is dependable to, I mean, come on and just change the game and just bring something out of the bench. So that's where I'm even still nervous more. So out of 1 to 10, I think 9. Before I heard that news, I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Because also one more thing is, like, in the past season, our history has not been that great, because whenever opponent team is struggling in their games, and it's after playing against us, they just get the whole confidence and just bring up their whole confidence back. So now City are struggling, and I'm just like, with the history, I'm not comfortable.
Well, Ruben Amorim's just come out and spoken about Rashford and Garnacho. Now, this might be a bit of a political answer, but he says, I pay attention to everything. The way you eat, the way you put your clothes on to go to a game, everything. I make my evaluation and then I decide. There is a communication after the last training. They are all right. They had training this morning and I was there. They trained really well. What do you think about that, Shreyas?
I think it is pretty much straight up. what you have to gather from that. I mean, there's actually, it's very straight and to the point. This comment.
It's nice,
like you
isn't it?
cannot, and you cannot really deviate it from that. Deviate from it that much. That he means that or he means that. We all know what he's trying to say. So, and are we surprised?
No, he says, we try to evaluate everything: training performance, game performance, engagement with the teammates, pushing the teammates up. Everything is on the line when we analyse and try to choose a player, so that is my selection. Simple. Very strong. Very strong. I don't want to send a message. It's simply an evaluation, and they know it. The players are really, really smart. Everybody understands my decision. I have to choose. It's just a simple selection. He's bold, isn't it? Very, very bold from the manager. I do like it though, because I feel like under Ten Hag, I know he was a disciplinarian and he did it with Sancho and he came out sometimes and spoke. But even a lot of times around things like this, sometimes with Marcus Rashford, he'd be a bit.
He did play favourites a bit. You can.
Yeah, he played favourites, or he'd be a bit quiet about it. This is just no fucking nonsense, no bullshit. This is how it is.
One thing about Amorim is, and because I've followed this Portuguese league for quite some time, we all know what kind of a player Gyökeres is. Like, he's probably one of the best strikers in Europe at the moment. He's benched him 2 games in a row because of a disciplinary issue, and he played a striker called Conor Harder in his place.
Yeah,
and we all know the kind of numbers that Gyökeres has been pulling for the past 2 seasons. So this is a no-fly zone thing for Ruben Amorim if you actually pull something like this off. And it's going to take a lot for them to actually make their way back into this team, considering what they've done, and considering also the fact that, the regime at United has changed completely. This is not Ollie's time where he was trying to keep every single player happy, where he was trying to, maintain that positive environment around the club by actually, listening more to the players and less to the club's directive at times as well. So I'm not sure how they'll come back into the team and, what is going to be followed when it comes to those 2 players, but it's going to be very interesting as to how the club deals with it now.
Yeah. I'm just going to go to the comments. There's quite a few. Ikwen Ake saying, I am welcomed. Okay. We better win. That's from HMJ. T2 to Izzo says, hi lads, no Rashford or Garnacho. Do you reckon MDL will play the right side and Maguire central? That's what I would prefer to go with. Do you agree with that, lads?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maguire is one of those right side or left side of centre against Doku or something. Oh my God, please. No, please no. McMillan saying, James from the Muppeteers said in a tweet now that opposition have known our team a day before a good few times. I know, it's not great. It's not great. If
And
Pep
it's looked
knows that's
team
the
have
team.
it's looked during in the games as well that teams look better prepared than us. Like you can see them better prepared than us. Bullying us off the ball, physically more stronger, knowing what to do at what sort of time, us being clueless on the pitch. Not a surprise.
No, you're
Maybe
correct.
maybe our players are like in front of Amorim, like you play me, otherwise I'll release the team news.
Yeah. Amarin, more quotes coming out from Amarin. The context is difficult because we have to win games and we have a difficult situation now. I pay attention to everything. On how the news was broken to Rashford and Garnacho, it said it's the same all the time. There is communication after the last training, which goes to the WhatsApp. They receive the information. He's no fucking room for like questioning, is there? It's not like, oh, did he mean this? Did he mean that? It is straight, quite literally straight down to the point. So, look, the thing is with these kind of games, you look like a champion if you end up winning it and it comes off and you're like, look at him, he's dropped Rashford, he's dropped Garnacho. I want him to do that anyway, regardless, win, lose or draw. But I'm saying, I remember Ten Hag doing it with Rashford against Wolves, wasn't it? And Rashford come on and he scores and we win the game and then that's the perfect scenario for a coach. But I also remember listening to him in an interview before he came to United and he was asking about standards and how he is with players. And he says he's extremely loyal with players and will back them to the end of the hills if they are showing that on the opposite side. So if they are turning up to training on time, if they are doing these things that he requires day in, day out, without question. As soon as one player goes below that bar, they're done for a bit for them. Like, even if I remember there was a player at Sporting one there who didn't turn up to training or something and just didn't play for ages.
Yep.
For ages. Yep. So it's standards. It's setting the standards, in it, which is nice.
He's doing it at United too. You can see that he's actually backing certain players to actually play in the team. Like, a lot of us wrote Malacia off, but Malacia started the Arsenal game and no one expected him to start. So he does back his players, but he does want that sort of discipline, and he also wants that sort of commitment from his players as well, that they are on the same page and they're directed towards the same goal.
It's like, I mean, you're taking a hit for this one game, but for a better future, because like the players will be coming in your team and they should know while coming, like there is no headweight going to for the players, headweight is not going to be considered here. Then I mean, like these kind of scenarios, I mean, these kind of moments will build their character for the future as well, because that when Sancho faced this this Cold War with Ten Hag, the very first thing we quoted was like the same thing happened with Manchester City when he was there. So we quoted that thing. So in the future, when this thing happens again, when they go to some other teams, then again they will be quoting this moment. So this actually describes their characteristics, and players should know, like this in this digital era, how can they release the team news and they can be, they can be hidden from coming out of in the media. So that's kind of total foolish if any player has done that. So it's like they're scoring their own goals.
I actually think it's one of the most outrageous things I've seen, to be honest. From a fan's perspective, seeing two of the players dropped for what we believe and what we're speculating about. Now, I have to put it out there, it might not be that, but chances are it seems like it's leaning towards that way at least. Them doing that has really pissed me off, really annoyed me before a game like this. It's bad before a game anyway, but I remember Paul Pogba doing it before a Leipzig game in the Champions League when his agent came out and was talking about a load of shit, and I was like, it's like Tim 99 just said, it's pure sabotage. It's ridiculous from a player, especially from Garnacho. It's like, you're young, you're naive, you can be a bit stupid at times, you'll learn. From Marcus Rashford, 27 years old. People have been spoke about him as a captain sometimes at the club. I don't think he should ever be a captain, but it's speaking about him in that vein, being coming through the academy, to do that on a derby day. Oh, that is just unforgivable for me.
And also with Rashford, we have a kind of a perspective like he's humble and he's like helping the people. He's involved in the charity, and this nature, totally, contradicts that. So
Yeah.
that's I'm not sure why. The players with that level of experience, with playing in that high level, with playing for Manchester United, if they are doing that, I'm not sure like whether they have understood how how the world works on this, on how the football works
Mm.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be honest though. It's not like they are. I mean, Rashford's not in glittering form, is he, Shreyas? So it's not like
No,
he's taking him out when he's on a 30-goal, a season.
he isn't. And the thing with Rashford is, and the thing that disappoints me a lot is, Rashford is one of the players that has been overprotected by the United fan base as well over the years. When he's had bad moments, United fans have backed him to the hill.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, they have. And he's probably one of the most adored players in this team. Even now, even when he's not been firing, every single person has been saying, he'll come through, he'll do this. We still give him a season. He still has it in his locker. And after that, when this sort of stuff comes out, it's just not, it just doesn't settle in right. I
Yeah.
still remember to this day when we first heard about Dean Henderson leaking the stuff to the media when it came to the team news. And the kind of clangers that he got and the kind of comments that he got after that, he was sold out. He was shipped off to Crystal Palace, I think, after that.
Yeah.
So I don't. After doing this, I expect the same treatment for Rashford
Well,
and for Rashford as well.
I was going to say the same treatment for the journalist Samuel Luckhurst, who
Hmm.
reported it as well.
Hmm.
He's been banned from press conferences before, so it's all good saying I got leaked this by a player. A player has told me this, but you're the one who's put it out online. You're the one who's the reason why everyone can see the team is because you
Yeah.
fucking posted it.
Yeah.
Had you not posted it, we wouldn't know. Like,
Yeah.
we might know that players leaked something, but we don't know what the team is. So, in actual fact, for being a correspondent for the Manchester Evening News, which is you're in every single Man United press conference, and you're putting this shit out. If I was the press officer at United, not a chance would I be letting him in.
Yeah.
No chance, because you're affecting the team. Pep Guardiola has known this team 24 hours before. He's playing. That's a huge advantage. Imagine if it was, put it in a scenario. Imagine if it was a Champions League final or something, and they had leaked that. It's a massive advantage knowing what team, tactics wise, who to play there. Because sometimes managers have questions in their head before they're going into a game, and they're like, who should have played? Should he go there? Maybe you might start him. Tinkering with ideas. You can have a full, solid 24 hours to be like, right, drill this into the players for whatever we've got left. Stupid behaviour. Proper ridiculous stupid behaviour. It's annoyed me that. Let's slightly go back to. I think we go on quickly.
Yeah. Also, one thing, like I'm hearing for the first time, like the team news is being, to inform to the players long before that. I was like in a thought, like on the match day, they used to come to the understanding like who is going to play, but just like one day before the team is finalized, and also you're still using the WhatsApp group for announcing a team.
It's pretty funny, isn't it? To be fair, like everyone's just about a minute before thing, they're just looking at their phones like, come on. Yeah, that bit is a bit mad, but I want to bring it back slightly because it is match day. I don't want to make it about the Garnacho and Rashford show, so I do want to bring it back slightly. What are our thoughts on Mazraoui as a wing back? Because of course we've seen him a lot as the right-sided centre half or the left-sided centre half. Have we yet to see him in that wing back? Maybe as a cameo, but have you? I don't know what to make of him there. I don't know where he'll be better because he's just good all around, isn't he?
I think he's played that system on a couple of occasions at Bayern as well, because Tuchel experimented a lot with that Bayern team, playing a back five, playing a back three. So he has played as a wing back. He has also played as a right back, as an out-and-out right back as well. And considering it, the way he plays, the only position I have question marks about Mazraoui as a player is just as a striker. Because apart from that, you put him in midfield, you put him in defense, you put him on as a wing back, even as a 10. He's genuinely a classy player. Yeah, and you look at him from a tactical standpoint, you look at him with his on-the-ball mobility, his positional awareness on and off the ball, the way he's able to move around with the ball technically as well. So he's a very, very, fundamentally sound player. And having him as a wing back, I think it creates much more dynamism on that right-hand side. Because Ahmad is a very unpredictable player. You add someone like Mazraoui onto that side, it creates more troubling issues. And Mazraoui is not someone who is, you can look at him and go, he's vulnerable defensively. He's very good defensively as well. So I think Mazraoui as a wing back could probably affect the game a lot more. He'll have more influence over the game. in comparison to as a centre back.
Do you agree with that, Dan?
Yeah, I think especially for this game, because like you need your players to play specific to that position. Because when you play Mazraoui as a center back, so and that his ability is towards, I mean, he is more attack minded, so he's going to go ahead the pitch and then come back. So you don't want to create a gap in when you are playing against a team like City. Like you don't want to create a gap on the right side when Mazraoui is up ahead the pitch, and then you lose the ball and suddenly you are out of the players. And so I think this formation, I mean, the Mazur playing as the wing back is the perfect thing we are doing for today, because that he can provide the defensive support, and also while going ahead and also shifting towards the midfield, he can create that mid three of Bruno and along with Bruno Fernandes. So I think that's a very good thing we have done, because if he's playing on the center back, then I mean, with today's game, I think he in the it will that this formation will demand more discipline, because you are playing against City, and as a centre back you cannot go you cannot go ahead of the pitch. So I think playing him as a wing back gives him little license to go ahead up the pitch, because that's where his all the abilities are.
Let's talk about City a little bit, because obviously it's at the Etihad. We're not at Old Trafford. It's away. They've been in ridiculous form in terms of like bad. It's probably the worst it's ever been for Pep at all the clubs that he's been at. It's probably the best time to play him, but at the same time, Shreyas, it's still extremely nerve-wracking in it when you see the level of quality of players that they've got, because you feel like even if we score a couple, we can still get outscored here.
Yeah, I mean, look, as goal scorers, they've got De Bruyne, they've got Phil Foden, they've also got Erling Haaland, who we all know that even on bad days they have troubled teams.
Yeah. Doku as well. I'm just like,
Doku, I'm not as worried about right now.
Against the centre backs though, 1v1, I'm like, oh no, I can't.
Might be the case, but in this game, considering the type of team that we are up against, I'm not as concerned about Doku. I'm more concerned about De Bruyne.
Oh yeah,
because I think now that with the kind of centre back department that we are going with, if De Bruyne can ping the balls around for Haaland, and even ping the balls around for Foden to actually latch onto around the box, it's going to cause troubles. And I think an early goal is going to be very key for us in this game. You get the early goal, City are going to be in all sorts of trouble. And you can see that their entire rhythm gets disrupted the moment they concede an early goal. And with us, I expect us to sit back. I expect us to play deep, especially now with the kind of centre backs that we are going with. We have to play deep. There's no other option but to play deep. But even while playing deep, I think we have that creative flair in our team in this game. You've got Mason Mount, and I think Mount will be very effective and key today to the way I expect him to get a goal. I think Mount gets a goal today.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Ahmad and Mazraoui will be definitely key while we are moving the ball forward. I think if Ahmad is able to have a good game today, I think Højlund and Mount will be on the score sheet.
Ahmad will always have a good game. Don't worry about him. He's right up there. Are you surprised no Mainu in the team, Dan?
Yeah, because I think he has been already, I mean, many times against the big guns, he has been a very good player for us. But yeah, if he's not in the team, then definitely it's going to be a kind of we'll definitely miss him, because already because he's type of a player like who is not that nervous when playing against big teams. So we need that discipline, that composure in the team. Yeah. So yeah, so that's what we needed. But since he's not there, then definitely I can sense that this game is going to be played more on our half. So we'll be kind of in the chasing the ball around a lot of minutes, I think.
But then if that is the case, then having Bruno there, I'm not sure in the deeper role against Man City. I'd rather have Kobe, to be honest with you. But then he's facilitating for Mason Mount being in the team, innit?
Yeah.
Because obviously Mount, I imagine how it's going to work. They will rotate at times, if Bruno pushes up, Mount can just slot in and drop in, and they'll kind of dovetail like that. So I don't have an issue in that sense. But I look at Bruno's second half performance, and again, this is something we spoke about at 12 o'clock against Arsenal. I don't want that kind of performance from him today. He needs to keep his head. He always loses his head against City. He's always rattled, and I can't be arsed with that. I can't be bothered with it.
The thing is with Bruno Fernandes, in the games where we are having more possession, in that game, if you play him in the middle, that's going to help us a lot. But in these kind of games, when you know that your possession percentage would be very low, you will not have the ball he will not be on the ball for more minutes, then definitely you know that when he start running around like a headless chicken, then you know that the trouble is going to come towards us. So
you can see it a mile off, can't you? It's like a toddler throat, like just running around like a wild child. What would this mean for Ruben, do you think, Shreyas, if he gets this win? First Manchester derby. Obviously, he's already beat City this year, but he's just spoken then saying completely different game, completely different competition. What will it mean for the manager winning this, do you think?
You could say after that Sporting loss, Pep's team just completely lost it.
Yeah,
like that
you
was the
could say
starting
he
point.
was the catalyst for it, if you want.
Yeah, and now he's coming up against him as well. I think Ruben Amorim is a very good coach, and with the way he's changing things about, and I think with the way that he's been utilizing all the players that are at his disposal as well, I think he's doing a very good job. I think for any manager to come in after the way we started this season and the position that we were in, I think he's mobilized as much as he could.
Yeah.
We've been getting some good results in the Europa League as well. Not good in the way where I would say that I'm completely convinced with the performance, but at least we're getting wins in and we're moving up the table. At least, now we don't have to go through a playoffs. We're actually we are in a position where we can automatically go to the round of 16, which is a very good thing for us.
Yeah.
In the Prem, it is always going to get more complicated because I think this is perhaps one of the most unpredictable seasons I've seen in the past 20 to 25 years in the Prem. Any team is losing points. Brighton have lost points against Crystal Palace today, and no one expected that to happen either. And now that we are up against City, I think if we win this game, it's going to prove very, very vital for us because you've got Bournemouth, you've got Tottenham in the EFL Cup as well. You've also got the likes of Newcastle coming up ahead, so it's going to be a lot of tough games for us till the new year with Liverpool. So if we are able to get 3 wins, even 3 or even 2 wins, it's going to do wonders for us in the table. And we genuinely need to move ahead because I don't want that gap when it comes to that 8th position, I would say, and 13th position to actually, start widening. You get a result in today, you go on a run, you never know. You put 2 or 3 wins, together in this table from 13 to 6th, it's not as much of a gap.
Fingers crossed. It's a massive game. Right, let's do betting slips then. This is rather than score predictions, we're doing betting slips. So, Dan, give me 3 or 4 things you see happening in this game.
I think 1 red card.
A red card?
I can sense that. Yeah, I can sense that in our team.
I could see that. Ugarte or Bruno.
Bruno.
Or Bernardo.
Bernardo. Hopefully one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe one stunner goal from a long distance.
A City player or United player? Are you willing to put a name on it?
I'll lean towards United.
Okay.
Well,
Rashford got a stunner last season, didn't he, at the Etihad?
Yeah.
But no Rashford today, of course. And did you score as well, Dan?
I'll go with a draw, maybe 2-2.
Okay. Shreyas?
I think there will be a big fight between Bruno and Bernardo Silva. Both of them just laying on the ground and
like
yeah, exactly. I think it will happen for sure. I think Lisandro will get booked 10,000%.
Yeah.
I expect Mount to get on the score sheet, and I think there will be a controversial goal for us. Like we scored one when we won 2-1 against City with Ten Hag at the helm, and Bruno scored that goal where Rashford was offside and making the run.
I remember.
I expect one of those goals to happen in this game as well, and Pep to have 116 scratches on his face.
116 scratches on his face. That's guaranteed, isn't it? I mean, that's even money's that. Right, what betting slip am I going to put in? I really don't know with this.
Dallo 25 mistakes.
I think KDB to get a goal or assist for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely doing that. I think Manuel Ugarte to get a yellow card because there's going to be a lot of action in that midfield. And I think we lose the game 3-1 to Man City. That's how I think it goes. Hope not. Hope we win. I'll put all that positive energy.
Yeah.
And trust me, I want to win this game more than the next person. I absolutely promise you that. But if I'm being realistic and if I'm putting money on it, let's just say in hypothetical
I also
terms.
see one more thing. I see Lisandro and Kyle Walker getting into a fist fight.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
we've been close to it on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
we see it happen finally.
I mean, it's a fascinating game, isn't it? It's fascinating to see what happens. Could be a huge swing for either team if they get a win. If
Yeah.
City win, they could push back up towards the title. If we win, back into the top half of the table for us. Different kind of objectives for both teams, but both with the same intent, I suppose. I am going to go watch it at the pub, but then I will be live after with Sam, Adam, and Chivi, so it should be a very, very interesting post-match review. I can't wait for that. But big up to Dan for your analysis. Big up to Shreyas as well. Likewise, enjoy the game, brothers. Hopefully we don't get smashed and we make it a competitive fixture. But appreciate your time, and I'll speak to you in the WhatsApp, yeah?
Yeah, see ya.